Hello everyone and welcome back to Killer Shrew Fans Killer Toy Reviews. We have yet another requested figure to take a look at today, and that figure is of course this guy, the Papo Feathered Velociraptor figure. This video was requested by King Baryonyx during our 12 days of review. Thank you so much for that request. We are actually really excited to take a look at this figure because to us it represents something actually pretty cool. Now, as many of you know, Papo is not the most scientifically accurate company. In fact, they're not even close in that department. But they are a highly detailed, very well painted bunch of figures. And, you know, over the years they've been getting a lot of pushback about how their figures are not scientifically accurate. And lo and behold, in 2016 they gave us this guy. And to me, it's not 100%, but at least it shows that Papo is trying and that they are taking steps in the right direction. Let's face it, they got a lot of work to do. I think 2018's lineup is plenty proof of that. But this at least shows us that they can do accurate and detail in one figure. So we're actually really excited to take a closer look at it. So without further ado, we're going to jump right in. Alright, let's do this. So starting off at the head as we usually do, as you can see, this is one of the few scaly areas on this dinosaur figure, and there you can get a closer look at the level of detail provided on the head of this raptor. All of the individual scales of varying sizes have been sculpted in, and you've also got some lovely eye ridges just above the nasal snout area and the eyes there. You can also see the individually sculpted teeth poking through the lip there, even with the mouth closed. And as with many of Papo's carnivorous dinosaurs, this Papo Velociraptor does have an articulated jaw, which opens incredibly wide. Look at that. That is just a powerful looking model. I mean, that just adds so much impact to this model. And then the interior of the mouth has been sculpted in a way that really gives it a lot of depth and a lot of detail, making it look like it is an actual gaping mouth ready to swallow you up. It's just gorgeous stuff, this mouth. You can also see the tongue has been sculpted, and the teeth are all individually sculpted on the lower jaw as well. And there's also a great level of gloss to really give it a realistic look. Going down the body, you can see all of the individually sculpted feathers that Papo did there, and they layered them in such a natural way. This really does look like a legitimate bird-like creature. The feathers are sculpted in such an appropriate manner, going all the way down to the tip of the tail, where you've got a nice fan of feathers, sort of like a feather duster. I do not believe that's accurate to dromaeosaurs. I think it would have just fanned out from the base all the way to the end. So that's one way in which Papo came so close yet we're so far. But really, these feathers are just so beautifully sculpted. I mean, feathers are one of the hardest things to sculpt. I've said it so many times. And Papo really did it in a way that is both natural and appealing to the eye here. From the actual triangular feathers to the very hair-like feathers seen here on the tail. The arms themselves are also beautifully sculpted with lovely wings. I think the primary feathers could stand to be a little longer, but you also see the hands there, which are also scaly, and the palms have been sculpted as well. But the feathers are sculpted in a beautiful way that layers them really nicely, and it has a very natural look. This looks like a legitimate wing. On the other side there, you can see the sort of plate scaling that they did on the back of the hands, and the sort of details on those wings. The back legs are incredibly chicken-like in the way that they are sculpted and painted. I mean, the foot just looks like a chicken's foot, save for that iconic sickle claw poised and ready to strike, but the plate scales and the tan coloring really make it look very bird-like. There you can get an idea of the anatomy in the calves, and it really does look like something if you went to KFC and you bought a drum of chicken wings and you just held up a chicken leg, it would look almost identical to those calves. So incredibly bird-like and so incredibly well sculpted. I mean, the muscle is contracting in a way that looks very natural for the pose, and there you can see the infamous sickle claw. So the colorations on this Velociraptor are varied. You've got yellows, greens, rusts, reds, browns, everything. And they all gradiate and transition very smoothly and very nicely. The only issue I have is that there are areas of high gloss where you'd think there shouldn't be, such as the midsection where the feathers are. You'd think those would be more of a matte finish. And then at the tail, you can see how they're colored, these feathers here, with white, grays, and blacks, creating a nice pattern, incredibly bird-like. Now for the pose. The pose is incredibly fluid, and it looks like this raptor is actively pursuing a prey item. Now, I know a lot of people might be concerned that it is a tripod. There you can see it is using its front left arm to balance. But when I first got this model, I assure you, it did stand up without the aid of that left arm, and I think just over time, the weight caused it to go down. Oops, sorry about that. But yes, you can get him to stand without the aid of that arm. I do promise you that. See, there he goes, there he goes. It's kind of precarious, but you can get it to stand without those and balance on those back tails, which really makes for an impactful and awesome looking pose, especially with that mouth open. This looks like a dangerous predator. So you just may be wondering, how big is this model? Well, from the back of the tail all the way to the front of the snout, you're looking at right around 7.5 inches long, and from the base all the way to the highest point, which is the tail, you're looking at roughly 4 inches off the ground, so not too bad in the size department. For size comparison, we're going to go ahead and bring in the recently reviewed Papo Baryonyx, and we thought that was fitting, seeing as this video was requested by King Baryonyx. So these two figures were released in 2016, and you get a very good idea on the difference, how much of a polar opposite Papo was that year in terms of accuracy and inaccuracies. I mean, I don't know how inaccurate the Baryonyx is, but I guess the better way to put it was controversial and not controversial might be the better way to put that there. Next up for size comparison, I went ahead and brought in a few figures. In the back there, you've got the classic Carnegie feathered Velociraptor standing next to our subject today. And to the Papo's left, we've got Safari Limited's recent 2017 take on the feathered Velociraptor. A gorgeous figure, and if you recall my video review of that, I think it is one of the cases in which Safari Limited gave Papo a run for their money, both in terms of paint and in detail. But I really do think all three of these models, though they don't really look all that great together, could certainly belong to a pack. If you're into dioramas, they could be a pack of Velociraptors, feathered friends, out on the hunt. But what exactly could they be hunting? Oh dear. Okay. You better watch out, naked Jurassic Park Velociraptor. The feathered friends are coming after you. Well, everyone, that's going to do it for our look at the Papo feathered Velociraptor. Overall, this is a truly gorgeous figure. It does have some areas of issues, such as the high gloss and some sculptural inaccuracies, which doesn't really matter all that much to me, and honestly, I can forgive the gloss, but it has a lot of great stuff going for it, so I think I'm going to go ahead and give this model an 8 out of 10. It is gorgeous, and especially the head and how wide you can open that mouth. It is truly an impactful model, and it will stand out great amongst your collection. As always, I want to know what you guys think of this particular model. Do you love it, hate it, own it? Are you going to try and get it? What's your favorite version of the feathered Velociraptor in toy form? Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed our review today, don't be afraid to let us know by hitting that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe on your way out so that you don't miss any of our future reviews. Also, leave any comments with requests down below. Like I said, we're jumping on those right here and right now. So, yeah, that'll do it for us today. Thank you so much again. Bye-bye.